All right, we're doing the lead vocal today. Let's hear a bit of the verse.
Right now I'm holding on.
And we'll go through my chain. Let me turn off all the effects. Let me turn off the chain. We start with a de-esser. And you have to be careful with these. This has threshold set at minus 33 dBs and a compression ratio of 12:1. If you go too low on the threshold, you'll cut off the consonants, and that sounds really bad. Following that, we go into our first fat channel, and that has a gate. This was recorded in the summer with the air conditioner on, so that gate is cutting out noise in between vocal phrases. And our first compressor is a FET compressor, and that catches the sharp transients and any kind of harshness at the top end.
Because you're my lucky charm. You.
Get into the chorus.
I'm gonna figure out the science.
And we're going for minus 6, minus 7 dBs of reduction at the loudest parts. And then on the equalizer, just one small tweak of minus 1 dB at 112 kilohertz, or 1.12 kilohertz. And that's just because I heard something in this particular singer's tone that I didn't care for. Following that, we go into our main EQ, and that everything is rolled off below 90 hertz. You could bring that up to 100 or even 110 or so. And there is a low mid frequency cut of 3 dBs at 677 hertz. There's a boost of 1 dB at 2.2 kilohertz, which is kind of helping to get it to cut through the mix. And then there's some top end polish at 7.4 kilohertz. That's the high mids, and that's 3 dBs up. And then at the high frequency at 11 kilohertz, 1.5 dBs, and that adds a little shine. Everything above 16 kilohertz has been rolled off because that gets a little noisy and airy up there. Following that, we've got our second fat channel, and on that, we just have a limiter.
I'm gonna figure out the science.
Just to keep things under control. Then we go into our second compressor, and that is a opto compressor, and that helps kind of glue everything that precedes it together.
I'm gonna figure out the science.
And that's minus 6 dBs of gain reduction. Now, this was a free plug-in from Brainworks. I don't remember how I got it. But if you have an opto compressor, use it. If not, any compressor will pretty much do the same thing. But ideally, you want an opto in this point in the chain. And then after all those things have been done, we do one last EQ, and this is with a vintage EQ. There's a minus 10 dB roll off at about 100 hertz, and minus 3 dB at 360 hertz, which is kind of where there's a muddy zone in there. Minus 0.2 dBs at 3.2 kilohertz, and then just a little polish in the high frequencies of 1 dB boost. And then finally, in this is a chain I have saved in Studio One, so it comes up for all vocals on this particular microphone, and then I can adjust it to the singer. We have a little reverb, but it's acting as a plate reverb. It's 4.8 meters long, 0.10 meters wide, and 1 meter high, and that's mixed in at about 20%.
I'm gonna figure out the science.
Then we get into our main effects section, and first up is our Arturia plate. Any plate reverb will work. I happen to like this one. It's a vintage plate sound. And the plate reverbs add energy, so they're really good on rock songs. On ballads, you might want to just use rooms and halls.
I'm gonna figure out the science.
Next up is a quarter note delay, and that is set to feedback at 41%, and you get about 2 repeats. And I don't want the repeats to crash into the next vocal phrase or muddy up the mix.
I'm gonna figure out the science.
So there's about 2 repeats in that quarter note delay. And then we have our hall reverb that we've been using, the large hall, exploding hall.
I'm gonna figure out the science.
And then finally, there are some vocal throws, delays, and those come on the last word before a large gap in the vocal, as here.
Hang on.
And that just adds a little interest where there's nothing going on. You could do that with backing vocals or some sort of fill on an instrument if you like. And that's leading into the chorus section, that last word.
I'm gonna figure.
Since the chorus vocal is fairly full, I didn't add any vocal throws there until the very last phrase, which leads back into the second verse.
Worth to you. Head.
Okay, so this has been melodined. Let's pull that up. Now, with Melodyne, if you're doing pop vocals, you can get it fairly tight. On rock vocals, I have it a little looser. The human hearing, you can detect things being out of pitch at about minus 12 cents and plus 12 cents. So once you get beyond those ranges, the listener will detect it as being a little off key. Now, this is minus 5 cents. This phrase is minus 3. This one's minus 5, so they're all well within that range. Minus 3, minus 3, minus 3. So I've tightened this up quite a bit. These large squiggles are vibrato. And, if there's some vibrato that annoys you, you can go in and smooth those out. All right, so let's hear the entire track together.
I'm gonna figure out the science. I can't stand here all alone in silence. I think we'd make a really good alliance. What am I supposed to do to prove my worth to you?
Not bad for a $100 microphone. So, this series is about getting a pro-sounding mix with minimal amount of gear, and it can be done. So next we'll tackle the pre-chorus double and the backing vocals in the chorus, and there are some ad-libs. I'll see you in that video.